Hello friends and welcome to my channel Yarnoculus. Today we're gonna nail down another beautiful crochet pattern. But before we get there, I wanted to tell you guys that I appreciate each one of you and can't thank you enough for watching my videos. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't done so. I publish a new pattern every week, so that ways you won't miss any of my tutorials and patterns. I've been crocheting for quite some years now, but recently started making YouTube videos, and I realized that there's a lot of behind the scenes work that goes on to make a good YouTube video. So not just my channel, but please do consider subscribing to other channels and artists whose videos you enjoy as well. Alright, for this week's pattern, since it's fall in full swing here in Canada, I wanted to play around with the leaf motif, and after doing a lot of trials and errors, I came up with this pattern, which you can argue that looks like a flower more than a leaf, but this is where I got to after trying a lot of leaf motifs, a lot of leaf patterns, some inscribed in the sample, some outside, and a lot of those kind of trials and errors. Call it anything you want, but it does look beautiful, right? So this pattern is divided into three parts. In the first part, we will do the waffle stitch background. That's the square that you see. That's the background. In the second part, we'll do this beautiful and really cute leaf motifs. And in the third part, we will assemble it together and stitch up the squares just like you stitch up your granny squares. And we'll stitch up the leaves to the background. For this sample, I'm going to be using Caron Simply Soft in soft green and persimmon color. And Caron Simply Soft is a medium weight acrylic yarn, but really for this pattern you can use any kind of yarn and a complementary hook. The pattern wouldn't change and you will get gorgeous results every time. So you can either go for an acrylic, cotton, a smaller weight yarn or a bulkier yarn. It's really gonna look as beautiful every time. And for this one I used a 4.0 millimeter crochet hook. And you're also gonna need a pair of scissors and a tapestry needle, so you can just stitch everything together in part number 3. For now, let's go and do part number 1, which is doing the square backgrounds, which uses a waffle stitch. For part 1 of this pattern, we're gonna make the waffle stitch background on which our cute little leaf motifs are gonna lay. So for that, start with a slip knot and do 31 chain stitches as your foundation chain. That's row number 1. So 31 chain stitches. For row number 2, skip the first 2 chains and do a regular double crochet in every chain starting from the 3rd chain. So for the double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the next 2. So just do a regular double crochet in every stitch across this row. At the end of row 2, you should have 29 double crochets. Let's move ahead to row number 3. For row number 3, chain 3 and turn your work. And the first post that you see, that's the double crochet from the previous row, you're gonna do a front post double crochet. So that's gonna be yarn over and insert your hook across the post and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That's a front post double crochet. A double crochet in the next 2 stitches and a front post double crochet again. So your pattern repeat for this row is gonna be a front post double crochet and 2 double crochets in the next 2 stitches, and continue doing this for all these stitches on this row. At the end of row number 3, you will have one front post double crochet to finish off this box, and the last one would be a double crochet in the last stitch. For row number 4, chain 3 and turn your work. And on this row, you're gonna do a double crochet and 2 front post double crochets. Double crochet in the first stitch, front post double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and repeat this throughout the row. That's a double crochet and 2 front post double crochets. At the end of row number 4, you will have 2 last double crochets. For row number 5, chain 3 and turn. Row number 5 is gonna be an exact replica of row number 3, so you're gonna start off just like you started row number 3 with a front post double crochet and 2 regular double crochets in the next 2 stitches, and then a front post double crochet. And that's gonna be your repetition for row number 5, 2 double crochets and 1 front post double crochet. And do this till the end of this row. You're gonna end row number 5 just like row number 3 with a front post double crochet and a double crochet in the last stitch. At the end of row number 5, you will see 2 beautiful rows of waffle stitch, and for this pattern we need a total of 9 rows, which means you're gonna repeat row number 4 and 5 for 7 more times, so you get a total of 9 rows. So do that, and I'm gonna meet you at the end of next 7 repetitions. At the end of 9 rows of waffle stitch, you are essentially done with this background. And if you like, you can go ahead and stitch in your leaves and go ahead with the pattern. But for this pattern, I would like to do a row of single crochet as a border on all 4 sides of this square. There are 2 reasons for that. The first reason is that it gives you a clean border. And the second reason is that when you go ahead and stitch more squares together, making a single crochet border would help you align the squares correctly and the stitching becomes easier. The top and bottom of the square are fairly simple, which will be 29 stitches, and you have to do 29 single crochets, which is 1 single crochet in every stitch. For the sides though, you need to adjust 29 single crochets in these double crochets. So what you need to do is do 3 single crochets for every row of the waffle stitch and do 1 extra single crochet at the top and the end. For the 4 corners, you can just do a single crochet, chain 1 single crochet. That's what I'm gonna start here with. So let's do a single crochet, chain 1 single crochet for this border. On this side, like I said, we need 29 single crochets. So I'm gonna do 3 single crochets in every row, but I'm gonna start with 4 single crochets in the first row and do 4 single crochets in the last row as well. Continue doing this for all 4 sides. So in the end, you should have 29 single crochets on every side of the square. So once you're done with making the single crochet border on all 4 sides of the square, snip off the yarn and we can go ahead to our part number 2, which is making this cute little leaf motifs. So let's go ahead and do part number 2. For part 2 of this pattern, we're gonna make a cute little leaf motif. There are a lot of patterns available from simple to complex that you can use to make this cute little leaf, but by far this is the simplest way of making it, and that's what I'm gonna show you. So start with a slip knot and 10 chain stitches for your foundation chain. Skip the first chain and do a single crochet in the second chain. A half double crochet in the next one, which is going to be yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. A regular double crochet in the next. A triple crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. That's gonna be yarn over twice, insert the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through first 2, yarn over and pull through the next 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. That's gonna be your triple crochet, and you want to do this for a total of 3 times. So let's do it 2 more times. 2 and the last one here. And now you're gonna do the exact opposite of what you did in the first half. That's gonna be a double crochet, a half double crochet, and a single crochet in the last stitch. Do 2 more single crochets in this last stitch, so you're able to turn and work on the other side of the chain stitch. And now we start working on the other side of the leaf to complete this cute motif. So start with a half double crochet in the first stitch, since you already done a single in the previous, a double crochet in the next, and just like the other side, 3 triple crochets in each of the next 3 stitches. And then you start the decrease. That's a double crochet, half double, and a single in the last. Complete this round by doing a chain stitch in the first stitch. And your leaf is complete. Pull up a loop, cut the yarn and fasten this side off so it does not come undone. And that's your cute leaf that we will be using in part number 3. So now we have all of the components of this pattern ready, and part 3 is just assembling it together to give you the beautiful pattern. Now at this point of time is when you can just unleash your creativity and actually stitch in the leaves in any way that you like. The way that I loved the most after a lot of trial and errors is to just put it together in the middle box, and that's what I'm gonna show you. But you can just stitch the leaves anywhere you like, in any pattern that you like. So for stitching it together, I'm just gonna use a regular tapestry needle, and it's a very simple process. So you just keep it together wherever you want it and just stitch it across. So this is how I do it. You can do it in any other way that you like. You don't need to stitch a lot through it, just need to make sure that it stays in place. So usually just one stitch around is enough. And like I said, you can have endless combinations of this pattern. Like you can have one leaf, two leaf, arranged in any way that you like. You can have multiple leaves. You can also have a small little flower here in the middle, and you can just make it as creative as you like. So in the sample that I made 4 squares and then just put it as a two-tone pattern. But you can just go crazy with this. Like you can use multiple colors, you can use variegated yarn, you can use a self-striping yarn, and you can do all of that. So after stitching, this is how beautiful it looks, and I plan to increase this. I'm gonna make more squares like this and then make it into a baby blanket. So that's it for the tutorial today. Hope you enjoyed it, and like I said, please consider subscribing to my channel so you don't miss any of my tutorials. I'm gonna meet you again with another beautiful crochet pattern next week. Till then, stay safe and happy crocheting.